Hello, I am Susan Rice, your narrator for today's presentation of Bartlett Yarns. I am also one of the owners of Bartlett Yarns along with my husband Lindsay. Bartlett Yarns was established in 1821 and is unique within the world of spinning. We have the last remaining spinning mule left in operation in the United States. The yarns produced at Bartlett Yarns are spun on the woolen system and have a homespun appearance with over 70 different colors. As we travel through our journey, you will see our machinery in operation and watch a customer's fiber journey. But here is a little more history about our 200-year-old mill. We are proud to say that we are grown local, American-made, and born around the world. Bartlett Yarns is located in central Maine, otherwise known as the heart of Maine, in a little town called Harmony, known as the little town with the big heart. We are almost as old as the state of Maine itself. Bartlett Yarns sits along Higgins Stream. When Ozias Bartlett purchased this property for $190, he purchased a certain piece of land containing 3 acres, more or less, together with the privilege of the water for any machinery except a grist mill. Eric Evans sold this property to Bartlett, and he owned the town's grist mill and ensured that the Bartletts would not give him any competition to his own field of endeavor. The business was handed down from generation to generation, basically as a carding and weaving mill. However, in 1891, when Herbert acquired the mill, he changed the business model to manufacturing yarn. Just a few short years after this transition, Harry, his son, then only 16 at the time, took over and watched his business boom, of which was a very successful mail order business. The original mill building burnt about 1922, and Harry Bartlett built the present factory at that time. Immediately after the fire, Harry drove by horse and sleigh to North Dexter, where he rented out an available mill in the middle of winter. It was practically an unheated shop, and he continued the manufacture of Bartlett Yarns until his new mill was ready. Bartlett Yarns has 3 main components to its business. It's wholesale, retail, and custom processing services. Our daughter Amy can often be found assisting our customers in doing educational outreach on wool. Often, Bartlett Yarns works with local producers to purchase wool pools, or customers just simply make the journey to Bartlett's to sell their wool. Today, we will be following a journey of a sheep producer in Massachusetts who brings his clip to Bartlett's each year for processing into yarn. In this case, he has chosen to receive his very own fiber in return. Bartlett's offers 2 processing programs, one where the fiber is pooled together and the customer has the choice of our yarns and rovings, and the second, the customer chooses to have their very own fiber returned back to them in either yarn or roving. Can often be found at many sheep and wool festivals, and part of our service to our customers is to accept wool and bring it back to our mill for them. The first stop on the fiber's journey once it reaches Bartlett Yarns is the warehouse, where it is carefully unpacked, logged in, and weighed. Wool receipts are issued, and 1 copy does go back to our customer. This wool receipt follows the journey through all the processes until the final product is completed. Wool is received from all over the United States and the world for processing. It comes in boxes, bags, and wool sacks. In some cases, customers may select one or all of our services depending on their needs and preferences. This fleece is from our producer friend in Massachusetts, and the journey for this fleece is washing, carding, and spinning. An additional service Bartlett Yarns offers is scouring or the washing of the wool. We can process individual fleeces or whole lots. No minimums are required. Natural fibers that we do scour are wool, kyriot, alpaca, llama, angora, and mohair. In 2017, we erected a state-of-the-art scouring facility. Keeping with tradition using antique machinery, Bartlett Yarns was the recipient of a national grant, and they were able to secure the purchase of a 1950s Sargent scouring train developed by MIT. After washing, fiber is then dried before it passes back to the mill for processing. This is continuing the journey of our fiber producer friend from Massachusetts. Next stop is back to the mill for picking and dusting. Bartlett Yarns has one of the only dusters left. This removes additional vegetable matter from the fleece. This fiber is currently exiting the duster. Our duster was manufactured by Davis & Ferber circa 1935. Honest, this is not a Maine blizzard. This is just the fiber after it has been dusted and picked, and it will be blown up to the third floor to start the carding process. This large machine, known as the Big Card at Bartlett Yarns, was manufactured by Lombard Machine Company in 1919.
Good afternoon. We're live here at Bartlett Yarns. I'm going to show you some pictures of our large carding operation. And what we're seeing right now is the storage room where fiber has been sent up from downstairs. This is a natural white wool, and it actually belongs to a customer down in Boxford, Mass. Nathaniel Higley sent us up fiber, which we've washed, and his farm, Woolen, down in Boxford, is having a run of their very own yarn that they'll be able to sell in their store. This is the feed box, so the weigh pan is weighing out the exact amount of fiber. Then it'll drop it down onto this table, which is the infeed to the first breaker, the first breast of our woolen card. I'm going to step around outside here. So what we're seeing now is going to come up and go across onto the overhead. The overhead infeed table is feeding the second and third cards. Alright, so down here at this end, this is the rub condenser. And what we're doing is we're taking the sheet of fiber as it comes off. I'm just going to shut this down because we've got a little bit of a breakdown on the other end. But what we're doing is we're making 4 spools of pencil roving, and each spool is going to have 24 ends of this nice and lightweight pencil roving. It's got no twist in it. Alright, so we've got 96 ends at a time. And once these bobbins are full, they're going to come over here to the next machine in the operation, which is our mule. Our mule is where we make the first ply of yarn. It's the entire length of this side of the room, or this side of the third floor.
This is the jewel of the business, otherwise known as the mule. We hope that you enjoy.
10 of these bobbins at a time. All right. So the spindle turns, and as that spindle turns, you'll see it's going to fall off the tip. That's how we make the twist. Now watch it right here. It's going to fall off. So there's one turn of twist. And this whole carriage goes back and forth on these little railroad tracks. And we're making 6 feet of yarn on every pass. And on the way in, it's just winding it back on the bobbin. And each pass, because we're making 2 yards of a single ply yarn with every pass, if you collectively added the 240 spindles times the 2 yards, every pass is equivalent to a skein of yarn, or the yardage that would be needed for one of our 2-ply skeins of yarn.
This is the first ply of yarn after being spun on the mule. After the spinning is completed, the spindles are dropped to the second floor where spooling takes place. Our spooler is vintage 1922, also made by Davis & Ferber. Special joining knots are used to join the yarn from one spindle to another. This does take time and patience. As the plies of yarn are made on the twister, they are transferred onto what is called a bobbin. The next step after spooling is the plying of the yarn. Our twister is also vintage 1922. Our customer has chosen to have a 2-ply sport weight yarn. It will be 1,750 yards per pound. The yarn after plying is transferred to the bobbins. This particular picture showing the plying on the twister is for a 3-ply yarn. From bobbins to the finishing step. In most cases, the yarn is transferred to one of our 3 skeiners, where it is measured off accurately to the yardage. Our custom processing customer has chosen to have his wonderful yarn placed on 1-pound cones. In this case, the yarn is going to be transferred to our coner. 1-pound cones of our customer's wonderful sport weight will be accurately measured to 1,750 yards per cone. The final product ready to be shipped back to our custom processing customer in Massachusetts. It will be woven into blankets and some will be knitted into sweaters. This is an excellent example of sheep producers adding value to their clip. Bartlettyarns makes several different weights of yarns. Shown here are examples of our 2-ply yarns. Bartlettyarns also does custom blends. This picture depicts our 50% wool and 50% alpaca bulky weight. They make for great oversized squishy hats and mittens. Pictured is Bartlettyarns sport weight 1-pound cones. Originally, this sport weight was designed to be used in the Harmony Auto Knitter, which is a circular sock machine. We now sell them in 1-pound cones, 4-ounce skeins, and also 1-ounce skeins. Bartlettyarns also manufactures several other products, including our famous Somerset blankets woven on antique W3 looms. We also make a 3-ply and rug weight yarn, which is excellent for punch needle hooking. The other building on our campus holds our office and our small mill store, which is generally open Monday through Friday. To share our history, Bartlettyarns offers an annual open house, generally the first Friday and Saturday of August each year. People come from all over the United States as well as internationally during our open house, and they marvel at the complexity or the simplicity of this wonderful spinning mule. Lindsay and I are often asked about fleece preparation. We do require the skirting of the fleece and removing any manure tags or vegetable contamination, as this is critical. Minimizing wool contamination assists us with providing a higher yield or useful quality of the wool clip. We do not accept wool which includes burdock, cockleburs, paint, dirt, or shavings. In addition, we do not accept belly wool, tags, wet, or moldy wool. In addition to our custom processing, we also offer wholesale to yarn shops, designers, and schools. We also attend several sheep and wool festivals, and we have our website www.bartlettyarns.com or our retail store here in Harmony. For more information on the Bartlettyarns custom processing services, please feel free to contact us and we would be happy to send you our brochure. So how did Lindsay and I come to acquire Bartlettyarns? We were customers for about 25 years, and about 15 years ago we were approached by the former owner to take over the business. Now celebrating 200 years, we think that old Ozias would be proud of the traditions he has started and the improvements we have made to his dream.